Back on another episode of the Fashion Hive Podcast. Today, I'm with Skylar, my wonderful co-host, and today on our episode, which is kind of a rarity, I will say, we have a designer who has a physical store here in Kansas City that, oftentimes some of these designers don't have a store. So super excited to have our guest today, House of Miri, and it is with Miriam today. So super excited to have you. So,
Thanks.
yeah, absolutely. So if you want to give us a just, 5,000 feet, overview of your overall brand, and then we'll kind of dive into the rest of it.
Definitely. So House of Miri, obviously, as you stated, is our brand. We currently just do women's clothing, contemporary, a lot of dresses, a lot of events. Think you want a fire outfit for your birthday, you're going on a trip, you're going on a date. So we style for all kinds of events, and we're vacationers. So we carry vacay year round. So anytime you've got a Mexico trip, you're going to Italy, you're going to be wine tasting, you can come get styled for your trips.
Okay.
Because it really sucks to shop online for things that are specific.
That is true. Skylar could probably speak a little bit more to that. She just went on a trip this summer.
Yeah, I went to Greece.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. Most of my outfits I got off of Amazon or something, except I got one in Forever 21 or something. But my problem with the outfits I got on Amazon, I got them in the smallest size I can because I'm a small individual, and they still didn't fit right,
Yes.
So
Yes.
ran into a few problems there. Had to fix it as I went along.
Yeah, and that's one thing we run into a lot. We have a lot of people that come in our store, and they are, everyone's body is different. So we're able to pull specifically for your body type pieces, and we kind of know our inventory really well. So we know something runs small, runs big, has stretch or give in certain areas where you might want a little bit of forgiveness. So that's been really helpful, and we get a lot of the online shoppers that come in and they're like, I ordered so much and nothing fit. One lady came in, I don't remember what she was getting dressed for, but she said she had spent $6,000 on Revolve. And out of all of that, had still not found something that made her happy. So we styled her, we got her an outfit, and she's like, I'm sending everything back. I'm so glad I came in here.
That's awesome.
I was like, dang, girl. And we really budget. We price our clothing for a good budget, because most people like to wear a new outfit for every event. We're definitely in a social media era, so people are one and done with their clothes. So things are priced to be able to get a new look depending on what you have going on in your life,
And I can appreciate that. Oftentimes, even as a guy wearing a suit, it's like you wore the same. You can't really wear the same shirt with that same suit for at least for a while, right?
Right.
Because it is that age of social media. So I can only imagine with the dress. And I hear it on staff, or just in general within the community that they are, I will not be seen in the same outfit twice.
Exactly. Although I will say we tend to stay away from trendy, and we stick with classic pieces. I love a good piece that is timeless but has an unexpected twist to it. Even the dress I'm wearing today, this can't remember when we did this, but it has these shoulder pads to it, so you wouldn't expect to see that in a simple black dress, and then it's got some ribbing, some texture, so it's really something you could easily throw into any wardrobe mix, but you decide when you don't want it anymore, and it's not society is telling me this is no longer in style, I can't wear it.
Right. So before we dive into your collection that we saw at Kansas City Fashion Week during their fall-winter 2023 season, let's talk a little bit about the moment someone steps into your store, what does that process look like? What is that service to them? So you talk about the styling aspect of it. They walk into your store, what can they expect?
Well, we're really friendly at our store. So you come in and we're just happy to greet you and just learn a little bit about you, figure out what you're shopping for. If you have an event, if you have a vacation, and then we'll kind of take your session that direction. So we'll pull kind of based on what typical size you wear, and then sometimes we'll just take you up or down depending on how that piece fits. But yeah, I mean, we either let you walk around with us and we'll pull things, or you can take a look around and we can grab some stuff for you. Just depends on your preference. But most people like to be a part of the process. And one thing that we try to ask, and not everyone is fully open-minded, but most women are, we're just like, just try this one. Just do me a solid, because I will say a lot of times women leave the store with a dress they did not expect to like, or did not expect to fit them, or they would have never picked for themselves. So I first experienced that years and years ago when I was in high school at Nordstrom, and this girl was like pulling these shirts for me, and I was like, I would never wear that. And it was like the shirts she picked for me that I would have never picked, that I loved and wore for years. So I really appreciated that, because I would have never found them, and they fit me well, and that just stuck with me.
And now you instituted in your own store.
And now here we are.
Love that. Love that. Awesome. Okay. And then what's the history of your brand, again, before we jump into the collection?
So I moved to Los Angeles in 2011.
LA.
Yes, I was there for 10 years. And when I first moved, I was like, I cannot be wearing this Kansas wardrobe anymore. Everyone was so stylish. And even if they were simple, they had an unexpected twist. They had like something that just really was different and unique. And so I started trying to switch out my clothes, but I was on, an LA budget, and that's not a good time. So I started thrifting and trying to find cool pieces that I could mix and match into my wardrobe and make it me and find kind of who I was stylistically. So I started out selling vintage, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I did that for years, and I had this huge collection in my house at the time, and I would get my friends dressed for their carpet events or, different things people had to do. And I was really, really bad at the marketing side. I was really bad at the photo side. I was really bad at like all of it that wasn't shopping for the store.
Okay.
So I ended up with a massive collection. And then at one point I was just fully overwhelmed, and I was moving, and I was like, let me just get rid of everything and start from scratch. So I gave everything away to everyone I knew, moved into contemporary, because I felt like that was something that I could build into a bigger brand. And it's really hard when you have vintage, because it's one-off. So every single item I had to take pictures of it. I had to measure it. I mean, it was just, and then find the one person that could fit it, that liked it. So it was just hard. But it was a learning curve, and it was a really fun experience. And then I started coming back and forth and putting my clothes in hair salons here.
Okay.
So I was like, there's a lot of women in hair salons, you're hanging out. This is a good place to shop. So I did that for a little while. And then in 2020, when I moved back, the apocalypse in LA was not the place. So I moved back, and I started just doing private styling in a condo in River Market, and then moved to the Plaza. And I was like, I'm done being in my house. I can't scale like this. And went to Oak Park Mall, and that's where my store is now, and that's kind of history.
Awesome.
I try to make that quick, because I can give a lot of detail, but yeah.
No, that's that gives a good overview, and it definitely gives everyone. I know that a lot of our viewers appreciate the opportunity to listen to the hows and the whys of your story, and why you do what you do, and how you came across that and started doing that. And a lot of that separates you and separates designers from other designers, because realistically, like, not to say that fashion is just this one big blob, because it's not, but you have to kind of have something that separates you.
Yes.
That's the whole component of it, right? So it is the aspect of being greeted by a smile, or whatever that looks like, that gives you an opportunity. And then, like you said, just try something.
Yes. I think it's really important to just use the resources that you have, because when I started this, I just didn't have any. So I was using my house, and I joke, but it's true. I really started this brand with $200 and a breakup.
Okay.
That's when I got rid of, that's the part I left out. I got rid of all the vintage. I was moving. I was like starting everything differently. And I went and picked up some stuff with $200, and I was like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And we've evolved so much since then, and it's just been one step, one brick at a time. And it's like, you want to plan this huge future, but you have to be where you are, and just from that space decide what's the next right step and the next right step. and be willing to put in the work. Because if I looked back to when I opened my store, it was naivety for sure. I went to the mall to get a kiosk. I was like, oh, I'll sell purses for the holidays. And I met with the agent there. He's awesome. And he was like, well, I have one inline store left. He's like, I think you should just take it. And I look around and it's 1,800 square feet. And I was like, okay. And we opened on Black Friday 2021. And it was just me. And I had no staff. I had not planned for a store. And the mall hours during the holidays at the time were rigorous. It was 9 to 9, 7 days a week. And I'm like, literally in tears most days. I'm driving there and I'm like, I've been home for like a few hours. I'm so tired.
Right. Yeah.
But I can't not be there. It's a holiday season. So that was a big learning curve. So I'm grateful to have a team, and I had a lot of support family-wise at that time, but there's only so much that they can do. It's your vision. So you have to be willing to do the work. So it was not glamorous for a long time.
So not to put Oak Park Mall on the spot here, but a lot of people, consumers, don't get this. And so maybe, just a simple yes or no, but is Oak Park Mall like other retail developments where they're within their lease, if, whatever that hour is, so that 9 to 9, that your shop has to be open as well?
Yeah, that is their contractual rule. So I'm like, I can't not be here.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's that's a component of being a business owner that some people don't get, is that, sure, you could set up a vendor table here even at Kansas City Fashion Week. You don't have to man it. You probably should.
Yeah.
You don't have to open it every night if you're here every night. You probably should.
Right.
But, Oak Park, Zona Rosa, some of those places you absolutely, doors have to be open, lights have to be on, has to be staffed.
You're like fined by the hour. I mean, it's aggressive. But I understand it too, because if you're walking through the mall and you're coming to the mall and okay, the mall's open, why is this store closed? And why is this store closed? And it's like you walk by and it just looks shut down and dead, and the rest of it's not. So they're just also trying to upkeep what the expectation is for their customer base.
Right.
So I get it. And most people aren't opening a store with nobody. So
Right. Just you.
Yeah, just me, guys. Welcome to the Miri show. It's a good time. But yeah, it was, hard in the moment, worth it looking back, part of the story.
Yeah.
Built some grit.
Yeah. You're better off for it.
I am. I've never shied away from hard work. Hard work without a plan is harder, but yeah. So it's been good.
Yeah.
And I've met so many incredible women. That's probably like my favorite part. Hey. That's
out here waving to all of our fans that are
literally
taking photos.
Oh, that reminds me, I got to get that hoodie. Yeah, so that's been, it's been really, really cool networking. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Field of Dreams, but it's a little bit like that. Like, if you build it, they will come. And that's how I feel right now. Just so many women walk through that door. Participating in KC Fashion Week introduced me to so many people. I've always kind of taken life by the horns. When I saw the application, they're like, you can do a minimum of, I think, 12 looks, 10 looks, maximum of 18. And I was like, well, we're doing 18. So that was cool. It worked out.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. You definitely had an excellent showing
Thank you.
this season. So it was great.
It was fun.
Yeah.
The girls put in work, I will say. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about your collection then.
Perfect. Segue.
Yeah. You queued it up. I mean, Field of Dreams, you teed it up. Home run ball right there. That was perfect. So for your collection that we saw at Kansas City Fashion Week, the Thursday night show, what was your inspiration? I mean, did you have an overall inspiration? I mean, I know it's different specifically in your line of work and what you do and what you offer compared to some of the other designers where they outright, cut and
sew.
Yeah, cut and sew. And then
I don't.
Some of them also go like to LA, to another country to go find their fabric. So walk us through kind of the beginning process and then up until the runway show.
Well, it's a little different for me since I do have a storefront and we are in a busy mall. So things that I initially had planned to put in the show sold out. And so it was kind of a constant, like, some of the dresses literally came in on Wednesday and then we showed on Thursday. But I was like, it's going to be here. I know it.
Yeah.
So, we were kind of changing things a lot. I had a process that I took all my girls through. My goal was to highlight the dresses and the vacation, obviously, because those are our two biggest genres that I like to focus on. But also, we see women of all different age groups, because I have a very eclectic style. So the things I buy for the store are varying as far as who could wear it and where you'd wear it. So I wanted to kind of start with the early 20s and take you all the way through, being a bride, being on your honeymoon, going on vacation, starting to go to galas and a little bit more elevated events as you grow up in your life and start doing things like that. So that was the initial look, was to kind of take you through the life of a woman. It did evolve a little bit, but that was kind of the point of the show. I don't know if you fully pulled that out of looking at it, but
I can see it. Okay. Because I remember I was sitting in the pit watching it, so I saw everything coming down, and I can see that as you explain it. I understand exactly what you're saying, because I remember the white look with the bride thing.
Yes.
Yes. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So, talk about the model concept, because if you were having that evolution of life, and I love how you hit almost every aspect, the galas, the wedding, or the honeymoon aspect, all of that. Was it difficult to pick models? We, as a team, Fashion Hive team, really try to give kudos to Kansas City Fashion Week for what they do and how diverse of a model pool they have. But when you're talking about an evolution, and then you're talking about the amount of models, that are already picked for other nights, and sometimes they don't want to, or they can't walk on a certain night, was it difficult to find that evolution of models, or did you find that to be easy?
I wouldn't say it's easy, and the only reason I would say that is because you only have so much space to pick your own crew. So you give your requested list, and then they'll pick from that, or you have to give a bunch of alternatives. So I had to do that a couple times just because I did need so many people. So by the time I saw the final list, I was like, okay. And it wasn't necessarily who I originally thought would be in it, but I've always been a person that has felt the right things always come to me. So I was like, cool, we're gonna make this work. So I had girls that were in high school, and I had girls that were full-time working with kids. So it just worked out that way. And then we kind of put people in the categories almost based on a little bit their personalities, but what looked best on their bodies. Some girls really looked amazing in the gala looks, and they might even have been younger. One of the girls in one of the gala looks was actually, I think, 16, but she looked great in it and it fit her. So it just depended, kind of where they made sense in the outfits that we pulled. But yeah, it wasn't easy for that sake, because it's not like your typical runway show where you hold a casting and you pick the people and you see everyone in person. Everything's picked from video and from photo lists.
Right.
So yeah, and it's all anonymous. So, and then later I'm like, okay, oh wow, okay.
Right. And then you have, 600, 700 models, pages of models,
God.
and models and models.
Thousands, it felt like.
Yeah, it's crazy. We are fortunate to kind of see the backside of the behind the scenes of model castings, and even working with the models, referring them to the model board, even at model castings. Hey, do this, do that. Let's rewalk you, because if you do it this way, you're going to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to absolutely blow away whoever is looking at your tape, but we got to get you there. So do this, this, and this, and then you're going to do it. And then, I think, the other component to it is them understanding, sometimes the piece, I feel like, makes them, and maybe Skylar, you could talk to this a little bit more, being in one piece compared to another, the confidence or even the feel of how you're going to walk down the runway makes it look completely different as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think, it has a lot to do with confidence. If a model is comfortable, confident, and what are other words I could use? I'm not sure.
They're feeling it.
Huh?
If they're feeling the piece.
Yeah, if they're feeling it, then I think that will really put forth how they'll walk down the runway, the amount of confidence that they're showing on the runway, that they want to be there, etc.
Yeah.
Yes. We did. So I had an assistant that helped me. He was amazing. His name's Brian.
Shout out Brian.
Brian, love him. He was really, really good at attention to detail. So we made a really good team. He worked with the girls a lot. I did have several rehearsals, and we like measured out 90 feet in the mall, and we're having these girls out there walking in the mall. We've got people watching from the balconies. We're like, don't record.
Right.
This girl's only in high school. But yeah, so we did a lot of work with them, and I could tell they were kind of, some of them might have been surprised or kind of annoyed, but just at the fact that I'm like, be here. And I was changing their looks a lot, but we talked them through a lot of walking and their poses, and he was rigid about it. And then when we got done with the show, they were like, oh my gosh, this was awesome. I'm like, are you so glad we rehearsed this a lot? Because it's very different just getting here and not knowing anyone, not really knowing what you're doing, haven't had that like repetitive. I mean, think about any sport you do, not to compare this to a sport, but you have to practice. You can't just get there and expect to kill it. So I think that really showed on the runway. They did a lot of work behind the scenes and really took into account the advice that was given. And we saw the growth with some of the girls from start to finish. So I know they'll be able to take that and kind of carry it. But one of the girls did tell me, she's like, I've done this a lot. And she's like, it was never this much fun. And part of the reason I was doing those rehearsals is, and this is just maybe my personality too, but I love meeting other women. I love camaraderie. I love networking. So I want you guys to know who you're doing this with. You have 17 other girls here. We had a couple dropouts. We had a couple add-on. It was a little back and forth for a minute there, but now you've got a bunch of girls that you now know. And next time you're doing this, you'll see them. You see them out somewhere, you can.
It's an ally.
Yes.
It's a friend.
Yes. And women need to be connected, and they need to be supportive of each other, because it's already hard enough out here. You're just trying to make your dreams happen.
And I'm sure on top of that, like knowing these other people, getting to know them before being here that day, it also adds into that boost of confidence, having that extra support behind you.
Definitely. I could see it with them. Even backstage, they're like helping each other, talking, like, and I also had all the girls on the runway acknowledge every girl they pass. Like, we did a thing where it was like, you need to either like little kiss, say hi, don't just walk past someone like you would in real life, Depends where you were raised, I guess, but we try to acknowledge a human.
Exactly.
So,
and I noticed that, oftentimes it's, and this is for each designer, right? Like, so they have their say.
Everyone's different, yeah.
So not to bash any designer, but there's some designers that they're like straight face. Even when you get to the runway, you're not smiling. This is how I want you to pose, And that does, to a certain extent, take the fun out of it, So the fact that they can, even be lively, not just walk down the runway, but like, I'm going to, touch them or like blow them a kiss. And
that was hard to train out.
Yeah.
Like, some of them like could not. I'm like, you look like a deer in headlights.
Right.
But that's just not what our line represents. Our line is about the girl wearing the dress, not about the dress on the girl. So I really wanted that to show, and I wanted it to be fun and in whatever way we could, somewhat interactive. And the crowd, like, you enjoy seeing someone smile more than you see them looking like pissed off. Like,
yeah. And I'm sure those like interactions and the actions that everyone was doing, it was also bringing the crowd into it more and making them more attentive, seeing these models going up and doing something together rather than just.
It's all very intentional, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you killed it. I mean, you did great.
It was fun.
Absolutely great.
It was fun. I had never done anything like that before, so it was a learning curve. I definitely have taken away some lessons for myself, how to improve going forward, but it was fun.
So going back to your overall like $200 in a breakup, what would you say to someone who, now that you went from $200 in a breakup to being in the largest fashion show in the Midwest?
Yeah.
And killing it, right?
I should say there's been some, like, 5 years in that. So you have to be willing to put in time. It's not like we're so used to, like, instant gratification. And there was just a lot of time, a lot of tears, and a lot of like, do what you can in that day. And that's really what I would give the best advice towards a goal like that, is like, you just have to be willing to never take no for an answer. And you hear that, but then you get to that hard moment and you have to be willing to be like, oh, I believe in myself or this so much, like I can't stop.
Right.
Even though today super sucked and tomorrow might super suck and next week might super suck, but one day it's not going to.
Yeah.
One day you're going to be like, oh, this is actually kind of coming together. And I really try super, super hard to be grateful for the moment that I'm in while still having a goal in the future. But at the end of the day, it really is about the journey, because you're going to get to the destination. If you didn't stop and enjoy the moments when you had them, you're going to be like, where did my life go? Where did the time go?
Yeah.
So like, even sometimes I'll come home and I'm like, dang, we killed it today. Or I'll be super tired, but I'm like, let me make dinner for my guy and like sit down and have dinner. Like, you can't pass up those opportunities as well, because you have to kind of build your whole life at the same time.
Right.
And I think a lot of people get so focused on that goal that they forget you're also living life. So you got to do it at the same time. You got to build your relationships. You got to keep up with your family. You got to keep up with your goals with your job and your career, but it's all got to be simultaneous.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll look back and be like, oh, I put energy into this every day for 5 years, but I haven't put energy into this in 3 years, and now it's disheveled.
Yep.
So that's just it's a personal goal that I have, but I also think it helps keep you happy and balanced.
Yeah.
But I'm a Libra, so I like balance.
Me too.
All of our recording sessions, I feel like, have brought up some sort of zodiac. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's a thing now. I mean, I also was in California for a long time, so they brainwashed me.
They brainwashed you. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's fine.
Oh, goodness. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add about your brand, about maybe anything coming up in the future? I guess a biased question. Do you ever see yourself adding a men's collection?
Yes.
Okay. Love that.
Yes, I really, really, really want to do it, and I really want to do it yesterday, but I know it's really important for me to study the course and make sure I've like got the foundation set up right. So that's what I've been working on. I also really want the men's to kind of align with what I'm doing with women's. So I don't want you to feel like you're walking in and you're able to find what we have elsewhere. You know, that's been an interesting thing. I've evolved a lot with the clothing, because I'm like, H&M's right there, Forever 21's right there. I'm not competing with that. I don't want to.
Right.
So people will come in and be like, you don't really have like a lot of pants or tops. I'm like, I don't know. I don't. If it's magic, I'll bring it in, but it's not like, okay, we just have this whole, it's just here to be here because people want pants, you know?
Right.
Maybe that's a bad example, but I do want men's, and I'm looking for the right people to try to bring in.
Okay.
So it will happen, especially because we do have a lot of women that come in with their guys.
Yeah.
And they'll sit there and they're so sweet. They're like giving them feedback and, yeah, wear that, don't wear that. And I'm like, they would love to be in the room next to you trying things on.
Right.
So we're working on it.
Well,
Brian's really on that. He's like, we got to get it in here.
Well, and it gives you an opportunity to facilitate a whole nother level of experience within your store.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yes.
It's huge. I mean, that's, again, my biggest issue with men's clothing here within the Kansas City region is that there is not enough, it's the box stores. You know, I have to go to the Dillards, I have to go to the JCPenney's, I have to go to the Macy's. So I feel like I ask that bias question a lot, but really there's a need for it.
There is.
There really is a need for it. And there's a need for male models and within all over, really. And a lot of people don't realize that fashion is both, right? And so I'm glad to hear that you're looking at that.
Yes, it will happen.
That's good.
Sooner than we think. Probably not by holidays, but soon. It's definitely a work in progress. We've got some stuff coming up. I'm not sure what right now. It's terrible that I don't have that.
No, it's
my
all right.
brain's a little
good. Yeah, it's been a busy week and
got a lot going on, but yeah, we always have things. I did things a little bit backwards because, like I said, I opened the store without really a plan for a store. So that's taken just like a monster load of my time. So now I'm working backwards and working on our website.
Okay.
And I hear that all the time. I'm like, they're like, Miriam, it's 2023. I'm like, no, dude, I'm an 80s baby.
You're like, but I have social media.
Barely, but yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. So I'm working on the website right now, getting that up and going and getting that mirrored to everything we have in the store. A lot cycles to the store so quickly. So we've been, kind of getting that mirrored, getting the social media, getting the marketing aspects up and going. So the men's is going to be right behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, like I said, you absolutely killed it. You and your brand, and even seeing the success of the vendor table here at Kansas City Fashion Week for the time that you were here during the season, it was great. And
yeah, you guys are right next to us.
Yeah, we've been vendor to podcast neighbors. So,
Yeah.
Whenever it gets too rowdy, we look over there. No, it never did, but it was funny. I mean, there were several nights of the show that we sit here and we'll sit here on the couch before the show, then during intermission, and then after the show, and kind of just recap, do funny blurbs, different things like that, things that the public as of now will never see, but maybe we'll get to that point. But it's funny, like we'll look over and we're like, she should 100% buy that dress. She she has to, like she needs to. So we're rooting for people at your booth.
That's awesome. We get that a lot in the store, actually. It's funny that you say that. And that's that same camaraderie like we saw with the models we get in the store. Like people will be trying stuff on and someone will be sitting on a bench and like, girl, that looks so good on you, or you should definitely get that. I'm like, unbiased. She doesn't work here.
And she's not getting a discount.
She's not. Yeah, it's not that. But so I love to see that, and I appreciate that feedback because I wasn't obviously at the booth most of the time, if ever. But I did go after our runway, and I feel like there were people like beeline into certain things because I had everything sitting there that we put on the runway. So that was kind of fun to watch, like what people gravitated towards, and
all week I was looking at your sunglass collection. So
I do a lot of sunglasses. Yeah, that's always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they're such a quick way to change up your look, so it's inexpensive.
Yeah. So. As a team, as a podcast team, we went thrifting. And then one of the days, and then we had to go run and get signs for Kansas City Fashion Week as well. And so we're rolling in a convertible down, whatever. And I look over, and Shaley has her glasses on. Skylar has her sunglasses on. I have my sunglasses on. None of the glasses look the same. Like we 100% could have just all been like.
I love it. Yeah. It changes your whole look. Yeah, it's a quick and inexpensive way to just restyle the whole look real quick.
Yeah.
It's like changing your eyebrows.
So do you have those sunglasses available in store?
I do. And it's so funny because in the store, they're not like ever looked at too hard, but at events, they just go crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they are. They're just not like a super highlight because everyone's more into the clothes. There's so much to look at. The store's pretty big. So, and that was an interesting thing too. The mall, I was up in this like tiny little store when I started. 1,800 square feet isn't tiny, but it felt like it comparatively. We're in the very corner, right by JCPenney. Our customer is not on that side of the mall, but we were doing what we could with it. And then they offered me like a 6,000 square foot space. And they're like, the person that's there right now wants to leave. We want them to leave. Would you like to take it? And I was like, same situation. I was like fully not prepared, but I was like, yes.
Yep.
We'll work it out.
Yep. And I'll figure it out later.
And that's what we've been doing ever since. So it's ever changing in there.
Yeah.
Since bringing Brian onto the team, he loves merchandising. So like sometimes people will come into the store from earlier in the day and they're like, everything's moved around. Like, where is the dress? I come back for this dress. Where is it? So it's always changing.
That's good then.
Yeah, it's
Keeps
good.
everything fresh.
It does.
Love that. Shaley, do you have it? Or Skylar? Dang, I keep doing that.
Yeah.
All of this. Skylar, do you have anything else?
I don't.
I'm getting fired.
Yeah.
After all of
You're
these
good.
episodes, I'm getting fired. I don't know.
Because that's not the first time you've done
It's
that.
been
So
100.
We'll just do like a temp tat, like
100,
on
yeah.
every.
I'm gonna need you to wear just absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
It's like losing a bet.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Mine will say loser just because that's only fair.
Yeah.
If they have to wear one, then like I have to wear one. So.
Well, you guys have to come by.
Absolutely.
Come see the store. Let's do like a little a little sesh. You can bring her in and we'll style you.
Yeah, I would love
You know,
to.
show you guys a little bit of like how everything works.
Yeah, we love
But it's been really fun. I think Kansas City was ready for it and really needs something different in the shopping world and in the experience world. And I just really collaborated a lot of my mind, what I learned out in LA, and try to put it in action. So yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely love that.
Love it.
Skylar, do you have anything else that you would like to ask?
Don't.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Anytime, Skylar. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna just slow it down every single time. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for being a guest on our
for having
show.
me.
This
It was
has
really
been,
fun, you guys.
This has been a great episode.
It has. I hope.
Yeah.
You guys have taken some nuggets. I don't know.
There you go. So, where can our followers and our audience find you online?
Mm-hmm.
Where can they find you on social media? And then again, plug your store.
Okay, so House of Miri, Miri, is our brand. That is our handle for Instagram. So just House of Miri. That is our website, houseofmiri.com. And then our store is at Oak Park Mall in Overland Park, lower level in the Nordstrom wing, right across from H&M Man. So it's hard to miss us.
Hard to miss them.
Hard to miss. It's funny. There's a new restaurant that just opened in Kansas City that I recently went to. I think it's called Privy.
Okay.
Is that how you say it? So I was in there and I met one of the owners and he was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I was just there and I really wanted to come in your store, but I'm looking around and there's no men's clothes. So he's like, I felt like I would be weird if I walked in there, but I was really drawn to it.
Right.
So it's just, the men's thing keeps getting brought up, but can't remember where I was going with that, but I'm just going to circle it back so it makes sense. But yeah, so.
Well, there it is. You guys have heard it straight from Miriam, where you can go and find and support and buy the amazing looks that you saw at Kansas City Fashion Week. But then also, it sounds like a lot of inventory moves pretty fast. So
it does.
You'll have to stay tuned in and plugged into House of Miri. So.
House of Miri, yep. Yeah, we try to keep it small. I mean, no one wants to feel like you're at Target and there's like 40 of this and everyone in the town's going to wear it. So we just switch it out a lot.
Yeah, no, that's good.
We get new inventory every week and it's always changing.
Love that.
So
keeps you busy.
Yes.
And keeps Brian just moving the rats.
It keeps Brian in action.
Like you're earning your paycheck.
Oh my God. He loves it. He's like, I'm like, do you want to take a break? You look stressed out.
Right. That's hilarious.
It's been fun though. It's been really fun. I've been very slow to build a team. We definitely need more stylists right now. So if you're in Kansas City and you're a stylist and you love to style and you love people, come see us. But yeah, it's been really fun. I've been slowly building the team. I really believe in having the right people.
Yes.
So I'd rather just do more work myself than just have it be random and have people not like really collaborate and get along. So
I agree. And that's huge.
Yeah.
And that's
can make or break you.
It can make or break you. So
because this is about living your life to the fullest and not just like making money.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm glad to hear that you're building the dream team, and I love the story of how you've scaled so far, and can't wait to see you add the men's collection. And
yes, you'll be the first to know.
I was going to say, when you do, you could bet that you will see me wearing a House of Miri look here at Kansas City Fashion Week or another fashion week around the globe.
Yeah, so, any of them.
Yeah, all of them.
We'll just style you for everything.
I'd love that.
Exclusively.
I need that.
Yeah.
Skylar. And then Shaley, who's not here,
correct,
give me so much shit for how I'm the least fashionable person. So
it's hard. I mean, I feel like my wardrobe's kind of gone by the wayside even because so much of my creativity is going into the store, and there's only so much in your brain. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like when I want to shop and it's not my store, like where do I go?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I know where I can pop in places and maybe find this or that, but like where can you go to really get, like if you need a reset or you want to buy like a decent number of pieces, like I even tried to go to Halls the other day and that was rough. I'm like, okay, this is not working.
Land of the Wild Wild West.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I appreciate all the people that have been supportive of what we're doing. I'm really just like one woman just trying to make it happen, and I really appreciate that support because every time another person comes and support, it just helps me further one more day.
Yeah.
And not have to go work for the man.
Absolutely. Well, Skylar, I said it right that time. Where can anyone who listened that doesn't already follow you, where can they follow you at?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram at Skylautz, and that's SKYLAUTZ. Love it.
Yes, love it. Well, go ahead and give House of Miri a follow. Go buy some amazing clothes from them, and then follow Skylar if you're not already. Follow Fashion Hive Podcast on Instagram. We're on Spotify and YouTube if you're catching us on one of the other platforms. And then a huge shout out to all of our sponsors that have made this show and other episodes possible. So Oak Park Mall, Union Station, 3 Light, Powell Gardens, and yours truly, Event Rentals, who sponsored our wonderful set. And then, as always, our partner, Kansas City Fashion Week, for allowing us to have a space with them and them being a champion of our podcast. You can follow me at Reverend_Sans on Instagram, and we'll catch you on the next episode.